This is Igbo Area TV.
IPOB dumps peace talks with Ohanaeze over plans to endorse Igbo vice presidential candidate for PDP. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has declared that it will no longer be involved in any peace talks with Ohaneze Ndigbo because of its latest discovery that Ohanaeze planned to use the peace meeting to promote the interest of a vice presidential aspirant under the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Ima Powerful, IPOB spokesman, in a statement said it suspects that Ohaneze Ndigbo was using his name to play politics. Professor Ben Nwabweze has some while ago hosted the leadership of Ohaneze Ndigbo and IPOB in his country home Atani, Obaru local government area, Anambra State, saying that the meeting was convened to consolidate on an earlier peace agreement he had brokered between both groups in Enugu. IPOB and Ohaneze Ndigbo had been at daggers drawn following the proscription of the group by the federal government in 2017. IPOB believes that Ohaneze Ndigbo and governors of the Southeast worked in concert with the federal government to proscribe it. In the last meeting, Nwabweze told journalists that another meeting would be held in Enugu where the Southeast governors would be in attendance and that the trial would work to pressure the federal government to deproscribe IPOB. We however learned that the meetings scheduled to hold in Enugu failed to hold for unexplained reasons. IPOB in a press release said following the inability of Ohaneze Ndigbo and Southeast governors to deproscribe the activities of IPOB in line with the stated objectives of Professor Ben Nwabweze Convent Peace Initiative, the leadership of IPOB hereby suspend with immediate effect any future contact or participation in the meeting involving Ohaneze Ndigbo leadership or Southeast governors. The ceasefire, previously announced as a gesture of goodwill after the first Enugu meeting, is now officially revoked with no hope of future reinstatement. The pro-Biafra group said that what was more annoying was that the peace talk was planned as a ploy to get her members to be part of the endorsement of an Igbo vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. They abused the privilege IPOB afforded them by seeking to turn the meeting into an endorsement of Igbo candidate for PDP vice presidential slot in the coming 2019 election. Under such circumstances, we felt the meeting had lost its purpose, hence the need for us to pull out of any talks, which consequently brought the entire process to an end. The group insisted that it has high respect for Professor Ben Nwabweze, who had tried to broker peace between them, but would not continue with the peace talks, bearing in mind that Ohanaeze was seeking to drag them into the Nigerian politics. Ohanaeze berates IPOB over conditions for peace. The IPOB'S Igbo cultural organization, Ohaneze Ndigbo, has described as spurious, mendacious, and the height of blackmail for the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, to outline what it called the preconditions for peace between it and Ohaneze Ndigbo. In a press release, the special advisor to the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo on media and publicity, Chief Emeka Atama, regretted that after all Ohaneze was doing to advance the interests of Ndigbo, IPOB was still recalcitrant and refused to allow peace, which is a sine qua non for progress and the achievement of self-determination for Ndigbo. The release said that the press IPOB was engaging in as preconditions for reaching a peaceful coexistence with Ohaneze Ndigbo was most unfortunate, especially after the efforts done by the President General to challenge the federal government on all wrongs done to IPOB. Atama recalled that at his inauguration on the 11th of January 2017, Chief Nwodo had, in a defiance of the obvious hatred and animosity of the federal government towards IPOB, stated that both IPOB and Maso were his children and he would not abandon them because their cause was his cause. Yeah, the President General was explicit then that there are two approaches to any struggle, violence or dialogue, and that he preferred dialogue. The release further said that at all the peace meetings Ohaneze had held with IPOB, Chief Nwodo had always explained that the IPOB'S body had nothing to do with the proscription of IPOB by federal government. On the contrary, Chief Nwodo had confronted the GOC of 82nd Division of the Nigerian Army Enugu to carry out investigation and trials of soldiers who went outside the rules of engagement in the killing of members of the IPOB during the Operation Python Dance. The release said that when IPOB was proscribed, Ohaneze again challenged the Attorney General of the Federation to show cause why IPOB, a harmless and an unarmed pressure group, could be proscribed. Atama stated that Ohaneze Ndigbo has restrained itself from engaging in a press war with IPOB because, as Chief Nwodo always says, a father should not quarrel with his children in the public, but the truth is palpably in the public domain. He said that this is why all the vituperations being poured on Chief Nwodo by IPOB, both on the pages of the newspapers and through the text messages to his phones, had not elicited any challenge from Ohaneze Ndigbo. What agitators must do to actualize Biafra. This is by Pastor Onoha. Pastor Olisadebelum Onoha of Jehovah's World Ministerial Outreach has urged agitators for independent nation of Biafra to wait for the appointed time ordained by God for the actualization of the mission. He said the supremacy war between the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Ohaneze Ndigbo, and Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, was not necessary in the agitation. Rather, Pastor Onoha advised them to sink their differences, close ranks, come together and seek divine direction to realize the nation of their dreams. Make no mistake about it, the nation must emerge, but not now, because God has time for everything that He has ordained for now. Those agitating for the state of Biafra should seek God first, he said. The cleric who spoke in Asaba warned that if the agitators do not welcome God, Biafra will be trodden underfoot, saying that they should come out for the Mount Carmel rally on August 26 at the Michael Opera Stadium in Enugu, and he said that the rally must be held before 2019 general election to expose agents of corruption and election riggers, and appeal to Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State to graciously approve the use of the stadium. Onoha said, contrary to a widely held belief that the enemies of the Biafra struggles are the past and present leaders of Nigeria, including President Muhammadu Buhari, Olusegun Obasanjo, and Ibrahim Babangida, the real enemies are the timing and approach of agitators. Let me categorically state here that the past and present leaders of this country, particularly Ibrahim Babangida, Olusegun Obasanjo, and incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, are not the enemies of the Igbo and the agitation. The real enemies of the struggle are the timing and approach of the agitators, he said. He, however, revealed that there is a 15-member cabal holding Nigeria down in corruption, adding that there will be a spiritual revolution to cleanse the nation of the cabal for the country to fully realize her prosperous potentials. On Igbo presidency, the cleric said it will neither be actualized in 2019 nor 2023, and insisted that a former governor of Enugu State who left not too long ago shall be the first Igbo elected president of this nation. Although a former national leader of APGA will stoutly oppose the former governor's candidacy, the word of God concerning the emergence of the ex-governor as Nigeria president is settled. In the interim, the Igbo, particularly the politicians, are advised to put their house in order before it is too late. They should stop blaming others for their persistent political misfortune. Here is an important news. Governor Ambode urges federal government to make other seaports functional. You see, Lagos Seaport has been the only functioning seaport. If others are functioning, I think it's at a very low capacity, or not fully operational. Lagos has the functioning seaports of Nigeria, and there has been complaints that there are other Nigerian states that has waters that connects with the Atlantic Ocean that should be used. Now, Governor Akeumi Ambode of Lagos urged the federal government to ensure that the seaports in other parts of the country become functional to decongest Apapa port and ease gridlocks. Some will say, is it now you know that this should happen? Meanwhile, Ambode also said that whatever had led to continual use of trucks to lift fuel should be addressed immediately. He made a plea at the 2018 third quarter town hall held at Community Primary School, Iberekodo, in Ibejiloki Local Council Development Area of the state. Ambode called for the reduction of the number of tank farms to prevent the perennial occurrence of traffic congestion in Apapa and its environs. He said that distribution of tank farms to other parts of the state was necessary, as concentration of about 68 tank farms in one place was risky in the long run. According to him, the problem in Apapa is that there are too many agencies and establishments with serving the fundamentals within the axis that every layer of government should collaborate to resolve the crisis. As it is now, other seaports in Nigeria must begin to work immediately to decongest the gridlock in Lagos. It is pathetic that the gridlock in the axis has become perennial in the state. It goes and comes, but the challenge is to give a permanent solution. It is a national national issue and must be addressed as same immediately. Also, we do not need tank farms within Lagos metropolis anymore. There are 68 tanks farm in Apapa alone. That is a serious danger waiting to happen. Beyond Apapa, they have approved tank farm in Ijegun as is, and that is where we have huge population. We need to distribute tank farm establishment to other parts of the state. This is what we believe should be done at this moment to free Lagos roads, Ambode said. The governor, however, restated his resolve to grow the gross domestic product of the state to improve the standard of living of the residents. Finally, Lagos is bursting as a victim of its own success. From Apapa to Surulere, Mile 2 to Orile, the city is overgrown with trucks. Truck queues that grow daily like wild legumes. Human traffic, vehicular traffic, refuse dumps. People are gathering fungus, sitting hours in their cars, sweating inside buses and scratching itchy hairs, dying of trucks. While smoky trucks, they are headed to Apapa to load goods and distribute across the vastness of Nigeria's container economy. Toothpick containers, toothpaste, electronics, goods and frivolities produced by foreign wisdom, needed by populous nations that create little. The trucks wait in queues for weeks, sometimes months, delayed by ditches, logistics and corruptions. Lagosians therefore stew in their cars in faraway Ojuelegba, waiting for trucks to load in Apapa and move an inch. The truck drivers lay mats under their vehicles to lunge, wake up to piss by the roadside and drink more gin to replace the discharged liquids. Lots they are, these truck drivers, feared by the government and by all the motorists. Their trucks are parked atop weakening overhead bridges in defiance to regulations and government serial ultimatums. They know he cannot tow away over 5,000 trucks, nor does he have a place to park them if he does. They know the government cannot do anything to them because the situation has moved from being a problem to becoming an impossible complication. So that is how it is. But in the final analysis, truck drivers are not the problem. That politics of exclusion, that deliberate bottleneck inserted by politics to make Aba or Onitsha importers use the Lagos port instead of the ones close to them, that politics that resists the proposal of a full eastern port, fearing current economic independence and future secession. Those two-lane roads around Apapa, built by colonial power and hardly ever expanded ever since, now bearing the tonnage of transportation for over 170 million people. With the current complication, fixing the road is now such a task. Lagos, center of excellence and fulcrum of Nigeria's dystopia. With post-state economies across the nation, Lagos became a major magnet of mindless urbanization, deepening wear and tear on its infrastructure. Huge budget, but broken down per capita, Lagos spends around 8,000 naira per Lagosian in a year. It is a state in need of multiple tiered overhead bridges to be built by public-private partnerships. Yet, a state that in less than a decade will be completely overwhelmed by people. More trucks, more money, but little real value. It will worsen because of politics that resist ports deregulation. Yes, this situation, if not resolved, if this politics of making Lagos the only functioning seaport continues, it will cause problem. This situation of the gridlocks will worsen. So here is an advice. Other seaports in Nigeria should open. The Calabar ports, the Port Harcourt seaports, they should be functioning and at full capacity. This will solve the problem. This material was by Emmanuel James Ibe Anyanwu. You see why we insist that the country either gets structurally overhauled. You see why we always cry for restructuring. We need to come to the table and discuss so many things. How can Lagos be the only functioning seaport? And that is why Lagos is facing the problem of congestion. Imagine what will happen in the next 20 years if this is not resolved. It is time, federal government, it is time to open up all every other seaports in the country. Even the Onitsha River Niger Bridge should be dredged. Please, would like to hear contributions on this. Thanks for listening to Igbo Area TV. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. You can also visit our Facebook page and like the page. You can join our Facebook group, Igbo Area TV. You can also reach me, the presenter, Azuka Mwaneke, on Facebook. Bye for now.